and welcome back everybody to Let's Play Sonic Origins Plus. In the last episode, we were continuing our Game Gear voyage by playing through Tails Sky Patrol on the Sega Game Gear. That game was pretty fun. It's really short, but it's really fun. In today's episode, we are going to be covering probably my favorite game on the Game Gear, and probably the longest game here, so I don't expect this game to be... I don't expect this video to be very short. It's going to be very long compared to the last video. Anyways, this is Tails' Adventure. Tails' second solo adventure game has him exploring Coco Island via flight and remote robot. This handy gadget also turns into the Sea Fox submarine that debuted in Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble. So yeah, this game is a lot different. This is actually a Metroidvania, to be perfectly honest, or a Metroidvania-like. I guess that's the way to put it. So we're in for a fun adventure. I absolutely love this game. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. And so now we're on to our next Game Gear game, and this game is going to be completely different than the other Game Gear games that we played so far. This is Tails' Adventure. This is his second solo game, and honestly, this is his biggest one. Tails' Adventure is a really fun game. Tails has been, sleeping here at Coco Island near his house. Then all of a sudden, danger approaches the island and sets his whole forest on fire. And, got all these enemies here with mechanical stuff and, torching the whole place and everything else. And I don't know who these characters are. I really don't know the synopsis of this game too much, but I don't know what these enemies are called. But this is Tails' Adventure. Now, if it's called Adventure or Adventures, I don't know. But when you start the game, you kind of start off on the world map here. You can kind of go to Tails' house in the first level. Tails' house is kind of like your sanctuary. You can go and equip your loadout to your liking with items that you find. And you can also go to your dock, which is the thing for your ship later. You could also where you can make a password continue if you wanted to continue. But we're going to go here into the first level, and this game is a lot different. It's a little platformer too, and it kind of has Tails' whole thing. But the thing is with Tails is, in order for him to attack, he launches bombs at his enemies. Yeah, he just chucks a bomb at the enemies. He doesn't curl into a ball and jump and attack him. He's just walking normally, walking at a brisk walking speed. But yeah, this game is kind of a lot different than the other games. This is more of a Metroidvania-like game. I don't know if it's an actual Metroidvania or not. But it's kind of like a whole, I think it's a Metroidvania, because you go around these areas, and you go and pick up power-ups and stuff like that. And you power up your character. And some of these areas can only be accessed with certain power-ups. So, technically, yeah, I think this is more of a Metroidvania than the other games. But yeah, Tails can, he can attack enemies with his bombs. I'm not very good. I get hit a lot, by the way, so just don't mind me. I'm kind of very lackadaisical with my game. But, as you can indicate, his health bar is indicated by the rings up on the top left corner. He has a certain number of hit points with the rings, and if you defeat an enemy, sometimes they'll drop in rings, and you can replenish some of your health that way. There's going to be some times where Tails needs to interact with the environment in order to, progress forward, so... But yeah, this first stage is, his whole forest is still on fire. I don't know, it's kind of funny, because every time you come back to the stage, it's always going to be on fire, so, how long is this fire burning? But yeah, this part right here, you gotta be careful. You just gotta walk across here, avoid the spikes and everything else. But yeah, I really like this game. I like the music a lot, too. The music is really catchy. Right here, you want to jump across this gap here, namely because we want to continue forward. You might see a bunch of these little things on the bottom that look like little, shells or something like that. Those are item pickups. Those are things to add to Tails' arsenal. Basically, those are the main things that we need to be looking for in this game. To get 100% in this game, you have to collect every item in Tails' inventory during the playthrough. So, yeah, just keep an eye out. This is a 100% playthrough. I've actually 100% of this game, so. But yeah, this game is a lot of fun. I really like this one. I think this is like in my opinion, this is the best Game Gear game. Hands down. I love this game so much. But yeah, we're gonna break open this wall here with our bombs here. We're gonna collect our first power-up. This is a Chaos Emerald, namely the red Chaos Emerald. You can tell because there was a giant R on the item thing when you picked it up. What Chaos Emeralds do in this game, strangely enough, all it does is it increases your health. It's kind of like an energy tank in Metroid. It increases your health by 10 hit points, as well as it increases your flight meter. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, Tails has got a little flight meter. He can fly for whatever amount of time he has on there. Every time you collect a Chaos Emerald, it increases his health and his flight meter just a little bit, so he can stay up in the air a little bit longer. Now we're on our first boss here. It's a giant, these duck enemies. I don't know what these duck enemies are called. If somebody's more knowledgeable about this game's lore, please comment. Like I said, this is like the first time I'm actually, not the first time, this is like, I've only played this just recently, and I don't know exactly the lore of this game. But yeah, this boss isn't too hard. You just have to avoid his jump attacks, his flame attacks, and just fly over them. Most of the bosses in this game can be kind of taken care of by just flying over them, dropping bombs. It's kind of funny. That item we just picked up is probably the most important item in the entire game. That's our robot helper. A remote robot. What this thing does is it allows us to go through little tight spaces to unlock puzzles. I think it's a flat out necessary item. We cannot beat the game without it. So you gotta pick it up. But yeah, this item is kind of very important, namely because what it does is it allows Tails to get certain items from a distance in like tight little corridors and stuff like that. We're going to be using it here in just a second. We're going to go back this way, avoiding all these duck enemies here. I'm going to keep calling them ducks because they look like ducks to me. But yeah, we're going to avoid these guys. You can take them out if you want to. With your bombs. I love that Tails uses bombs to attack. That's a fake wall, by the way. We're gonna fly up here. Gonna fly up our way up this way. I had to do a lot of save stating and cutting in this video. Funny story. This video that I recorded was probably the longest video I recorded for this channel. We're actually going to use the robot here. I'll get to that story here in a second. This is what you do with a robot. If you switch over to your robot and push the button, you can take control of your little robot buddy. And you can just, go through little areas while Tails is commanding him on a remote control. Where he's pretty much invulnerable to all types of, enemy and stuff like that. And hazards and stuff. But if you push up and jump, you can make him have a little helicopter and fly upwards. But he can go into these tight little spots here and collect items that are kind of designated for that robot. So yeah, we got ourselves the speed shoes. The speed shoes are kind of important. I wouldn't say they're necessary, but they kind of help a lot. Keep in mind that little rock wall. We're gonna be coming back to that rock wall later in the game. But I don't know why I'm doing this, but there's an easy way. Oh wait, I know why I'm doing this. We're gonna go get that item down there. I'm gonna jump into this. I had trouble trying to jump into this little narrow passageway here. There we go. Okay, the little robot had just a little bit of hard trouble there. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna grab this item. This is the radio. The radio is kind of not important. I guess if you don't like the music. I'm going to show off what the items do that we just got. We got the speed up shoes, which just, if you use the action button, it just makes Tails sprint. It makes his dash speed a little bit better, walking speed a little bit faster. And the radio does nothing but change the background music. That's all it does. You can change it to any song on the OST if you want to. Which, we're going to be going through all of it. I don't want to differ from the other song that we have right now. I'm trying to change it back while I'm on the fly here. There we go. Got back to the regular song. But yeah, the speed up shoes aren't really like super duper necessary, but it does help you if you want to get along a lot faster than normal. But yeah, we just you have to cycle through your loadout with, like, I think it was the Y button, if I can't remember. I can't remember what it was on the Switch. But yeah, that's one thing I always had trouble here, is like trying to hit these bombs on these rock walls here, trying to do it because Tails throws in an arc. But what I was talking about was, like, this is probably one of the longest videos in this playthrough so far, because this is kind of a big game. It's not like a super duper long game, but it's a big game considering what the other games we played so far. I think the only one that came close to it, I mean, I know Sonic Triple Trouble's length of this video is a lot longer than this one. Well, not a lot. It's like a couple minutes longer than this one. But that was mostly because I did 2 playthroughs in that game. This is just one straight up playthrough. Yeah. When I recorded this game, it was like 4 hours long. I did a 4-hour recording session. That's how long this game is. It's about like 4 or 5 hours if you play through it casually. I'm gonna go over here and kind of like fly over that because I didn't trust that thing there. These enemies, I hate these bad enemies, especially when you're trying to hit them with a bomb, because, like I said, throwing with a bomb with an arc is kind of hard sometimes to know where your trajectory is. But if you come down this way, get this item. It's called the hammer. There's a bunch of items I just don't flat out use in this playthrough because they're not really that important. I think the hammer is more of a physical attack item, but you have to get really close to the enemy, and I don't really, frankly, like playing that way. So I'll just tell you what it does. There's a lot of items in this game I just don't flat out use. I'll tell you what they do, but I'm not gonna, go out of my way to show you. But we're here at the 2nd level, by the way. We kind of exited out of the forest. I forgot what this place is called, but it's like a cavern. I do like the music that plays in this area. The OST in Tails Adventure is really good. I like it. I catch myself like listening to a bunch of them. It's kind of strange because I didn't think I'd fall in love with this game as much as I did. This is actually a good use of the speed-up shoes because trying to get through that without taking a hit is kind of hard. So you can kind of just rush through it real quick. But yeah, that's like the only super duper useful use I could find the speed-up shoes. I guess it just makes your game a little bit faster if you're going long stretch of land without, going too far. But the thing is, though, most of the time in this game you're platforming. So it's like, do I really have use of these speed-up shoes? This game is more platformy than a regular Sonic game. Like, this part's really hard. Like, I can't really see myself running in this situation. But right here, I think I'm going to switch over to my robot. Yeah, because there's a little itty-bitty crevice here. If this was a regular Metroid game, we'd go into Morph Ball here. But, I don't know, you're making the Metroidvania references here. This item's very important. This is the remote bomb. What this does is just a regular bomb you throw, but it won't detonate until you push the bomb button again. So, it comes in really handy trying to blow up, like, regular rocks when you're trying to get through certain areas here. Like, right there. This block right here is breakable. But it's only accessible through that tiny crevice. As you can see, little robot's like, oh, I can go in here, but I can't go any further, because if I keep going this way, well, I can't advance any further. I forgot to mention that if you just push the cancel button, the robot will just automatically go back to Tails. It does a long, like, drive back to Tails, like, animation, but yeah, if you are done with picking up the robot, you can just, you know, call it back, and you don't have to sit there and walk all the way back to Tails again. Now here, I forgot that, you can only carry, like, a certain number of, items at a time, in your loadout. And as you can see, I had, like, my loadout was, like, full with the radio and whatnot. So I'm like, oh, shoot, I need the remote bomb. Because this part right here, you really need the remote bomb. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to leave. Yeah, you have to, like, sometimes you have to really think about your loadout before you go into a stage. But for the most part, like, most stages only consist of, like, the only items I would really, frankly, think you need are, well, definitely the robot, your regular bombs, because that's just your form of attacking. The remote bombs are very important. I would suggest getting that. There's going to be another item later. I'm not going to spoil what it is. That is kind of useful, so you might as well pick that one up too. But we'll get into more of that when we pick it up. Yeah, I kind of have to walk back all the way back out here. I'm like, oh man, I gotta wait to walk of shame to go back to my house and pick up the remote bomb because I didn't do it. Oh, that's called Volcanic Tunnel. That's what that's called. But here at Tails' house, you can equip your loadout here. And as you can see, all the items are up on the screen here. You just have to kind of hover over the ones you wanna replace with. Like, I want to replace the radio because I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to replace it with the remote bomb. But as you can see, these are all the screens of items that we need to pick up. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like I said, the Chaos Emeralds, there's like 5 Chaos Emeralds in this game, I think. 5 or 6? I can't remember. But yeah, the Chaos Emeralds are in this game. I don't know what they're doing here, and honestly, they don't look like Chaos Emeralds. They just look like, you know, circles with with the letter on them. I guess they just ran out of animation or sprite work to make an emerald. I don't know. I'm not gonna crap on this game too much because I actually like this game a lot. It does have its faults. It does have its moments where I feel like it's kind of hard. Like, backtracking's kind of a pain in the butt in this game. If you're trying to go back and get certain items, it is kind of a pain in the butt to get back to where you were. Like, right now, it's like, I just wasted, about, like, good 2 minutes to walk back, because I was like, oh, I don't have a remote bomb equipped because I had my item slots full. But and it is what it is, you know. Sometimes you gotta take the walk of shame to get back to things. I do like Tails' flight in this game. It's not, like, super hard to control. But yeah, you can practically fly anywhere you want to. I'm gonna show off what the remote bomb does. I think I mentioned it earlier, but if you throw the remote bomb, it will not detonate until you push the bomb button again. Or unless that you push it, waits a little bit. If you wait a little bit, yeah, it'll explode on its own. But for the most part, it is a remote bomb. It will not detonate unless you say for it to detonate. Here, we're gonna use our remote bomb because we're gonna have to throw it through this tiny crevice here in order to break the wall right there. Bam, right there. See, like that. That's what how good the remote bomb is. It's a very important item. It's more important than a lot of, like, I'd say like 90. That's like one. I guess that's one big complaint about this game is I don't really find many of the items useful in this game besides like certain ones. Especially like certain other items we'll get later. Like I said, I didn't even use the hammer. The hammer is kind of just a pointless item. I'm gonna jump across this platform here. kill more of these bats. You can use the regular bomb, like the remote bombs, as kind of like your attack item, but honestly, regular bombs are more useful because double pressing to activate bombs is kind of annoying. So, gonna use our remote bomb here again. Switch back. Throw it there. Explode! It only exploded one half of the wall there. That's okay. Tails is slender enough he can fit through that hole. I died like a couple times in this playthrough. Of course, I cut them all out because, like I said, I'm trying to keep these playthroughs like as seamless as possible if I can. I don't want to waste your guys' time with my failed attempts and whatnot. That's why I save state a lot. You might, in case like people don't know, you can tell I save state if there's like certain parts where I stopped, and then you gently hear the like a menu theme from the main game, like a confirm noise sound effect. Because like I tried to splice it in a way that it's kind of seamless. But sometimes that sound effect of the menu kind of gets caught in the crossfire from that, so... But that's okay. I know I could cut all that out, but... Alright, so we're gonna fly up this way here. After breaking all that rock debris there. Trying to carpet bomb that stupid mouse there. This part might... right here might be a good use of the speed up shoes if you want to, but they kind of crumble like on your normal speed there. I got the green Chaos Emerald. Again, that, like I said, Chaos Emeralds, all they do is they increase your health and they increase your flight meter. So I'm gonna collect all the Chaos Emeralds to get max health in this game. It's kind of like I said, they kind of act like an energy tank. Except they do more than an energy tank. They kind of increase your health and they increase your stamina, essentially. Go here and fly up that way. Right here is kind of weird because right here you can actually throw a bomb up through this wall here. This is like a fake ceiling. I don't know why, but you gotta have to throw it up there in order to activate the remote bomb to break that thing up there. That ceiling right there. I'm trying to throw it up there. Ah! It went off screen. Every time it goes off screen, it just disappears. There we go. Now we broke it. Okay, so now we're just gonna, you know, keep walking our way this way, and I think this is the... Yeah, that's the exit. So now we're on Poly Mountain 1. Yeah, there's two versions of Poly Mountain here. And I think this might be the stage we come back to a couple times. I like the music in the stage a lot. It's very upbeat. You got these little, like, ducks over here throwing bombs themselves. But Tails is, you know... I like music a lot because you'll see that I make Tails, like, dance to the music here. I don't like where you're placed, Mr. Duck. It's kind of like an awkward spot. I have to get close to the edge there to hit you. And I still fell down and got hit in the spikes. Oh my gosh, yeah, I get like wombo comboed a couple times here. Like I said, I died a couple times in the playthrough, but like I said, you won't see it. You can break open these walls here to reveal rings. If you're like low on health, that's kind of a good way is to break walls. Kind of reminds me of like OG Castlevania way to find food here. That wall looks like it's breakable to get that item, but no, it's not. We're gonna need another upgrade in order to break that wall. We won't get that upgrade for a while, so keep in mind we're gonna come back to this stage later in the game. So they pick up that item. Ah, stupid ducks. You can alternatively here, you get the helmet. What this does is it essentially makes it kind of like a shield for Tails. Kind of like ducks inside a helmet, and he can protect himself with projectiles and stuff like that. So that's what that does. But alternatively, you didn't have to do it to, like bum rush the duck there that was throwing bombs at you, you can also use the robot in order to pick that item up. This part's kind of a little bit tricky. There's certain parts that when wind is like picking up in the area, where if you fly, it will cause your character, cause Tails to go upwards fast and not like have any control of his flight. Or sometimes where it's like pushing down, like the wind is going down, you can't advance with your flight any higher than where the wind's pushing you down. If that makes any sense. Kind of a weird way of describing it. This room sucks. I hate this room. Trying to hit these guys with the bomb is a pain in the rear end. But I just, ultimately I just like, nah, I'm just gonna get out of here. That guy was easy to take care of though. Now right here, I'm just gonna have to, you know, get in that spot so that way I can get on that platform over the, I fell down. Oh no. Tails is just like, you know what? You're driving me nuts. Carpet bomb. That's kind of the result for a lot of things. It's just like, if I'm above you, I'm just dropping bombs at you. Carpet bomb style. There we go. I'm dancing to the music. I really like the music of this level. Yeah, just gotta ride these platforms over these spikes. Ow. Took the damage from the spikes. Luckily, they don't do, like, a lot of damage. Most of the stuff only does, like, one ring's worth of damage. So, I would advise you, try to, I think, for this level, we kind of want to, I think for this part, we want to be up on the up end, or am I going to break open the wall? No, that's right. I think that's later in the stage. We're going to break open this bedrock here. I keep calling it bedrock like it's friggin' Minecraft. I meant like this rock right here. Even though it technically is bedrock. I'm gonna use the sprint shoes. Yeah, this is a good use of the sprint shoes. I guess it wasn't really the only spot that we could use sprint shoes. There's a couple spots where we need to use them. I'm just gonna fly up this way. Avoiding all the cataquacks. Call them cataquacks. I don't know why I call them cataquacks. That's a Mario enemy. Been playing Mario Kart World, that's probably why. Dropping the bombs on these guys. I still missed. My archway. I just suck at these bomb throws. There we go. Now I can get this item. This item is Knuckles. Yeah, Knuckles is an item. All that does is it allows Tails to punch enemies like Knuckles. Sure. Again, that's kind of a close contact item. I don't really like those. Anyways, we want to break open that wall and fall down this path here, and it takes us back to the world map. A quick suggestion, if you are hurt and you leave back to the world map at any point, just go to Tails' house. Because if you go to Tails' house, it full heals you. So, you might as well take the free heal. So, we're not done with Poly Mountain yet. I only did that to get the Knuckles item. We gotta go back into the stage because we gotta actually head to the next boss, which is later. Here, as soon as we get through it, he's coming up, and we need to go to the other path that I didn't take. I think that's why I was getting confused earlier, because I was like, I was trying to suggest like, oh, on that last like little area, we want to keep up on like on the top part of the stage because we want to advance to the boss. But I forgot that I was getting the Knuckles item. Again, like I said, it's probably the biggest complaint I have about this game is how like some of the items is just like, cool. Why do I use this? There's a lot of items that are like that. But yeah, I'm gonna be trying to explain every like item, what they do whenever we come up to them. I think that's what I'm gonna go down. We're gonna go down this way. And that just kind of makes our thing here. And then we got the wind up this way, and we kind of have to fly up this way here. avoiding all these stupid ducks. Avoiding the spikes. I think this is the part I was talking about. I kind of fell down here, and it's like, oops, I didn't mean to. But if we come up this way, and we fly up this way, we get the Super Glove, which is kind of funny. It allows Tails to lift up place rocks by pressing the action button and throwing them with the 2 button. I mean, it's very situational. You have to have a rock right there in order to do that. A strange thing with that item, in my first playthrough, I was missing one item. That was my last item I needed to get in the game, to 100% it. I was missing an item before I finished this game. I was like, wait, I'm at like 99%. Where's my last item? And that was it. I forgot to pick up the Super Glove. How are you stuck on the wall, dude? Anyways. We just, you know, go down this way. Trying to kill that duck on the spike there. I don't know how you're doing that, mister. Gonna keep on going through this way here, dude. Ow! Freaking spikes everywhere. Come on, Tails. We gotta be up on the top portion here, because I think this is what leads us to the boss. At least I think it does. I don't know what past me does. Also, wanted to apologize. It took a while to get this video out. As you can tell, this is kind of a big game, so trying to edit all this and trying to commentate over this is kind of difficult. So that's why it took a long time after the last video of Sonic Origins for this video to come out. I'm sorry. Hopefully this is the last like big super duper big game that I have to do for this part of the game. I think so. I think the only one other that I might have I think I might have one other one where I have to do a two playthrough version of the game. But for the most part, I think for super duper long games, I think we're up at the end of the rope here. But anyways, we go through this part here, and we come up to our second boss here. It's like I don't know like I said, I don't know any of these characters. He's like a flying duck, like a superhero duck or something like that. I don't know what these guys are called. I feel so uninformed not knowing these guys, but I literally don't know the backstory of this game very much. But the main goal here of this boss fight is not even really a boss fight. It's kind of a race. He's gonna come down and he's gonna start attacking you from the sky. You just kind of have to avoid him when he goes up, and then he comes straight down where you're positioned at after he goes up on the top of the screen. So you just kind of have to avoid it while you're, you know, flying upwards here. You do have infinite flight in this stage, in this boss fight, so you don't need to worry about flight. But keep in mind where the guy is, like, coming down from, so that way you don't accidentally trap yourself in order to get to the top here. But there we go. Once we get to the top here, he's like, okay, you beat me. And he gives you a Chaos Emerald, a purple Chaos Emerald. So now we got like 3 Chaos Emeralds. But we need, in order to race him, in order him to go back to Cocoa Island. I think that's where the other island is. And once you beat him here, we can actually use our submarine. Because we're going to need to in order to advance any further. The submarine is only available on the dock portion of the Tails' Houses menu. We need to load up the loadout for the submarine. We saw the submarine before, because this was the sub that Tails used in Sonic Triple Trouble. And it's kind of cool, because it goes from, you know, regular Tails playthrough, and now we're in the submarine with, like, weapons of our own. Now, during this stage where Tails is using his submarine, he can, you know, he has a Vulcan cannon. That's what we got by default. And he kind of just shoots, you know, projectiles at mines and enemies and stuff like that. But he's also got a drill, on the front of his sub, which allows him to break open this rock like this, but only in front of him. If you see any blocks that are like above him or below him, he can't break those, unfortunately. So we need another upgrade to the submarine, and what do you know? That's part of your pickups that you need to get, is the upgrades to the submarine. So, yeah, you just have to, you know, go through here, and if you see any like rocks above you or rocks below you that your Vulcan cannon or your drill can't break, then you know that that'll come back later when we have that upgrade. But if you want to turn around, you just have to push, I think, the jump button to turn the ship around. I can't remember. But yeah, you can turn around if there's an enemy behind you. Like you saw those rocks below us, we need a certain upgrade in order to break that rock. But we can break this rock because it's right in front of us. We just keep on moseying through here. I do like the submarine portion of this. I do like that it kind of like switches up gameplay a little bit. Because it kind of shows, you know, this whole game kind of just like shows Tails' power as a mechanic. Because you have all these like cool little gadgets that he uses to fight these enemies, and it's nice to see that like part of Tails. For the most part, when we play as Tails, you know, he can fly, he can, you know, use his tail to hit enemies and stuff like that in most Sonic games, but rarely do we ever really get to see the mechanical, like the mechanic side of him, unless it's like the whole game is built around it, like Sonic Adventure 2, all Tails portions were by the robot and stuff like that. But as soon as we get through here, we get to an island called Cavern Island. And this whole area is flooded. Luckily, you don't need to worry about an air meter in this game when you're in the water. Tails just is fine. he doesn't need to pick up like bubbles like in the other Sonic games. If he could just stand in the water just fine. But the thing is with water in this level is it has a current, as you couldn't tell. If you hit the current, sometimes Tails gets, you know, swept with the current and stuff like that. We want to actually be down here, because there's mole people down here. There's also rock right here when you blast open with the bomb here. But yeah, this whole stage here is just nothing but like water. This is the flooded area. I guess this is technically the water level of Sonic or of Tails Adventure. But like I said, water's not really a big issue. The only thing that water does is, besides the current stuff, I think it makes you slower. Yeah, it makes you a little bit slower. That's about it. Which isn't a big deal because you're going kind of slow to begin with. Tails doesn't move super fast in this game. And as you can see, we got like 40 health points, 40 hit points. This actually, right here, I completely ignore that advice, but that'd be a good place to use the remote bombs, I would suggest. The remote bombs can take care of those enemies while you having to jump right into the enemies and whatnot. I'll jump over here, try to get over that ledge there. Keep forgetting I can fly half the time and try to just jump to its destination. I'm like, I have flight, I can fly. What's the issue? Trying to get rid of this bat here because he's going to cause me trouble. Because I think I have to break this. Yeah, I have to break that column there in order to advance. And of course, they place an enemy right there when I fall down from there. That's one thing that's really annoying with trying to hit these enemies that are like smaller than Tails, because you have to kind of like duck to toss the bomb. Like I said, you have a bomb that you throw with an arc. It kind of gets annoying half the time trying to adjust that arc here. But here, we're going to push this spring. We have the super glove. I think we can pick this up. We're going to push this spring here. And we're going to jump right here to get this item up here. Well, I said get that item, but I missed. I'm just going to come over here. Push this thing. There we go. And then we get the mine. This is a upgrade for the ship. That is what we need in order to break blocks that were below us in the submarine. So I was talking about, oh, we got to get stuff that, you know, hits above rocks above your submarine and below your submarine. That's the item to break the blocks that are below your submarine. So I'm actually gonna fly over here because this part's a little tricky with all these stupid bats all over the place. I really don't like this segment, this area here. This is annoying trying to traverse here because all these bats here are just flat out annoying. And of course, you know, Tails has knockback, and that gets rather frickin' annoying after a while because trying to get hit with these enemies and get knocked back into the water again, I just don't like it. Ah! Luckily, he can grab ledges, which isn't a big deal. I forgot to mention that if you're flying and you run out of energy, Tails can regain his composure and restart his flight meter. So essentially, you can fly forever if you know how to do it right. It's kind of weird because once he's like in the falling motion, from after you fly it, you use up your flight meter. You just push B up and B again, and Tails flies again with his full stamina meter. So technically, he can fly forever. It's kind of weird. As long as you like adjust for the little like dip in momentum whenever you're falling, for just like that half second you're falling. It's kind of weird. I'm trying to get through this with too much issue. I was just like, I think I'm just gonna have to take the pot shot. But I don't want to take as much hits as I want to because I know what's coming up next. It's like the hardest part in the game for me. But we're just gonna break open these rocks here. I don't know why I climbed up on the spikes. I don't know how I did that. Whoa, carpet bomb. There we go. Finally broke open that thing. I'm gonna fall down this water spout here. Keep going down this way. If it gets spat right back out there, that's okay. I got knocked back, so. There's nothing up there, I don't think. So, we want to keep going down to the south of this area here. Avoiding all these enemies. This is a really claustrophobic area. Man, they like love to shove enemies in a bunch of areas. It's like there's a lot of like tight room here. It's hard to hit enemies, especially these bold people that don't pop out until, you know, after you like fly over them. I hate the enemy placement sometimes in this area. We'll try to get as many rings as we can because we're about ready to fight another boss, and it's probably my least favorite boss in this game. Namely because I'm not very good at it. We're going to use a remote bomb here to break open that rock there. And then try to avoid the mouse in the water, because there's always a mouse in the freaking water. And try to hit the... Yeah, there we go. Now I'm going to try to use that remote bomb trick I was talking about. And to no avail. It blew up before it could hit him, but I got it on the rebound here. Unfortunately, the current just kept sucking me out that way. I just switched back to regular bombs, man. This part's a little bit annoying, because, yeah, you can fall the way down. You don't want to fall the way down because, yeah, that can be an issue. And I don't want to... That leaves the area, and we don't want to leave yet. There's still a couple things we need to pick up. There's a bunch of like columns here we can break open to get rings if you need rings for your health. Which I'm getting close to dying at this point. It's like I really need to do that. But we want to break open this wall here and get this item. This item is the napalm bomb. This is the other item that I think is very important. The napalm bomb, whenever you throw it, shoots a column of fire out of the ground. And it's good for combat, but it's also good to take care of grassy, like, rocks. But we'll get into that more later. This is the boss I was worried about. I hate this boss so much. The first phase is not too hard. You just fly above him and try to hit his head with bombs while you're flying. But during this stage here, in the second phase, when his helmet's off, he's gonna hit the ground like this and cause like duck bombs to fall from the ceiling. And there's not enough room in order to gauge, like, to move out of the way. So honestly, best advice I can really give is to, once you see him start moving his arms downward like that, get out of the way and just go down to the ground. I made it look easy, but that's just because I fought this guy a lot of times and I still died a lot. But after we defeat him, we get the anti-air missile. This is the other thing for our sub that we need in order to get to the rock that's above our sub. So now we have both the items I mentioned earlier. So we come in here to the dock, we can equip both the mine and the anti-air missile, which the anti-air missile is probably one of the better items in the sub, namely because it just hits enemies above you, and you find yourself in that situation a lot, compared to like a mine, for instance, which just hits enemies that are below you. But we're going to go back into the rocky lake, now that we have both of the upgrades for our submarine, in order to explore the areas that we need to go. That we can now with our new upgrades. But yeah, that boss that I was talking about, I died a lot to that boss. I think in this playthrough I died to him like twice. And that's one thing, it's hard for me to make a strategy, because I'm still not good at that strategy. But yeah, we're going to use our anti-air missiles here to break open those rocks, and kind of keep going up on the north end here. Now, once we come up here, we're going to fight ourselves another boss. Just a bunch of these guys on a giant, like, battleship. For this boss is kind of a cakewalk. You just have to just be below them and avoid the little projectiles they throw at you, and keep spamming your anti-air missiles, because that's like the best thing to fight against this thing. This boss is kind of a joke. I know most bosses in this game are kind of a joke, but for the most part, I can really say that this is kind of a joke boss, because, well, I mean, the submarine's kind of a powerful item we have. Those anti-air missiles are amazing. You just keep firing, avoiding the projectiles, and you'll win eventually. There we go. Blow up the ship. Yay! And then now that with that, we have access to Green Island, which is very kind of another cool island we can go visit. But I'm gonna go back to Tails' Tails' house here, because we're gonna switch out our loadout just a little bit. I'm gonna put the napalm bomb, I think. Is it the napalm bomb? Oh no, I'm just looking at the items here. And the funny thing is, these like things here tell you what the items are, so if you know which one you're missing, it'll tell you which one you're missing. But yeah, I'm gonna equip the napalm bomb, because the napalm bomb is really a good item for this next area. We're gonna go to Green Island. Got a bunch of hornets' nests in this area. I would really suggest your napalm bomb is probably your best friend here, because yeah, it'll destroy this mossy rock, I guess that's what they call it. But yeah, like you throw it and it causes like a sea of fire on the ground. The funny thing is, it like travels the ground, and not only that, like if there's any enemies above the bomb exploding, it will hit those too. Those hornet nests that we passed by, like you can throw it on the ground underneath the hornet nest, and it will kill the hornet's nest. So the napalm bomb's like your best friend in this area. It's a really good way to test out the napalm bomb. We're gonna use the robot here to shove this spring out here. We're just gonna keep on jumping. We're gonna go up this way. I use my speed up shoes here because it's a long stretch of land. We can use our speed up shoes for a couple times. But yeah, like you see where the hornet's nest is right there? If you throw a napalm bomb underneath it, it'll destroy it. I didn't realize that until this playthrough. I was like, oh, I guess I could do that. But right here, as soon as we kill the little guy there, he's stuck on the... I don't know how he got stuck on the wall there, but I can't kill him. I don't know how he did that, but he's literally stuck on the wall there. He kind of glitched out down that way. But I want to break open this thing here, because now we're going to switch over to our robot. And we're going to use our robot buddy to jump down this crevice here. And you're going to walk along the side here. Go through this tree branch. Or tree trunk, I guess it's a tree trunk. And pick up this item. Extra speed. This item is for your ship, and it makes it so it kind of gives you a jet engine on your ship, on your submarine. Makes it so that way you can go a little bit faster in your submarine. We'll go back to napalm bomb to destroy these guys. Trying to hit them anyways. It's kind of weird to hit the guys with the napalm bomb, but there we go. Now right here, it might take me just a minute, but I want to fly all the way to the top right of this corner of this room here. Yeah, and as you can see, the wind picks up, so it's kind of like pushing me upwards. I'm going to destroy that guy with a napalm bomb. I'm going to switch back to the regular bomb. And strangely enough, the napalm bomb doesn't break. I don't think it breaks open regular rocks. It just only breaks open the mossy rocks. It's kind of weird. But I guess the napalm bomb is literally just fire, so I guess that makes sense. I mean, fire is weak to rock in Pokemon, so I guess that makes sense. I say that, and I'm not playing a Pokemon game. I'm playing a Sonic game. Now, in this room here is kind of a little bit tricky, because you're going to have to use your bomb throws a little bit more strategically, because you got to create platform for yourself. I mean, you can technically tank all these hits with the spikes, but if you want to be a little bit more conservative with your health, that's a way you could do it. I'm trying to get through this hornet's nest. This was before I realized that, oh, I guess I can use the napalm bomb to break open the hornet's nest. You don't want to fall in that segment there. As you can see, I fell through there, and now I have to do this whole rigmarole again. Avoiding the hornet's nest. I want to fly over this hole here. There we go. And I think I want to jump, trying to avoid these little, like, dudes here. I don't know what these guys are. I think these are ducks, but they're, like, small. I don't know. It's kind of weird. These enemies are odd. It's kind of weird because you don't ever see these enemies, I don't think, ever again in Sonic, in any of the Sonic games, so... There we go. See, yeah, look, see, it destroyed the hornet's nest once I used it. I was like, oh, wait, that's what it does? Alright, cool. So I'll start using that from now on. Gonna fly up this tree trunk. Now that I know what the napalm bomb does, I'm going like, okay. There we go. Get rid of all those guys. And get rid of that guy, too. Napalm bomb's pretty cool. And it's kind of funny that this game, in particular, a Sonic game, which is like, you know, kids game, kids aren't gonna know what napalm is. And I just love that they use the actual term napalm bomb. I'm like, I don't even really know what napalm is. I know it's just a chemical, or chemical component for the bomb, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyways, we get this item. This is the night vision goggles. This is only ever used in one stage, and that's the next stage we're going to. All it does is it lights up a dark room. That's all it does. It's very, very super duper situational. It's only ever used in one stage in this whole entire game. After its use, it has literally no purpose. Kind of reminds me of, like, I think Glow Kirby from Kirby's Adventure, where you only used it in, like, the couple of rooms that were, like, super duper dark. and after you used it, you lost the power, so it's just like, what was the point of that? We'll climb up these trees, fly. Hornet's nest there. Try to switch over my napalm bomb so I can take care of those guys. There we go. Fortunately, I left a straggler there. There we go. Now I gotta switch back to my regular bomb to break open that wall. And then we're gonna switch back to the robot to go through that crevice that we just created. I love the robot. I think the robot is probably the coolest thing, because you use the robot a lot of the times just to get items that you can't reach yourself. It's just like, here. I love how Tails is just like, I'm gonna control it with a remote control. It's so adorable and I love it. This game's just cute. I love this game. Anyways, we got the white Chaos Emerald here. So our health went up by 10. Flight meter extended again. I think we almost got all the Chaos Emeralds in this game. I think we got 4 of them at this point. Yeah, we would have had 4 of them at this point. So, I think there's only like 6 of them in this game. But it's like any other Game Gear Sonic game. There's only going to be 6 Chaos Emeralds. I don't think there's any other... I think every Game Gear game has only 6 Chaos Emeralds in it. I don't know what their fascination with the 6 was. It's kind of weird. I think the only Sonic game that ever actually had like 6 besides that was Sonic 1. But all these other Game Gear games have like all of them just 6 Chaos Emeralds. But now we're pretty much done with this area. We got all the item pickups. That's pretty much it for this area. We're just here to pick up like the couple items that are here. Mainly the night vision goggles. The night vision goggles are really the only super duper important item we need. Mainly just because the next stage is, well, it's dark. So, yeah, we want to get that. I mean, Chaos Emerald is also a very good item pickup. And we also needed the jet boost for our submarine. So, I guess all the items here are pretty important, so. It's kind of weird because I'm trying to think like all the useful items. I said most of the items you don't really use that much. I'm like, no, there's only some that, namely the ones for the combat is really not that useful. It's kind of weird because you can like all the other items that we pick up are in some ways useful. The napalm bomb's useful. The night vision goggles only used in one stage, but we still have to use it compared to like other items like the hammer and helmet, knuckles. We don't really need to use them. They're just used for combat. That's it. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and change my loadout here. At least I thought I was. I think I'm gonna. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna equip the extra speed turbo. Because I think that's where we're going next, is that area, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we're gonna go back into the water. Now that we got all the items in Green Island, we can get access to the other northern island, I think? No, I know where we're going. We're going to the giant, like, lake in the middle of the island. That's where we're going. Okay, yeah, so we're going to go, I think we're going below, I think? Either that or I might be wrong. Yeah, we're just gonna burst our way through here, because this next area we're gonna need the speed up for our sub. Our sub is very, we need the next thing we need is that. I think I just keep going straight. It's kind of hard to remember because I was following a guide during my first playthrough of this game, and trying to remember where to go in this game is kind of hard. But like I said, I really did fall in love with this game as soon as I beat the game when I was playing it the first time, because it just reminded me a lot of all the fun like activities that I could do with like Tails in particular, but like kind of just remind me of the joy that Metroid games bring me. Like, oh, I got a new item, what can I do with it, and where can I go from there? There's a lot of cool stuff that you could just figure out with just, you know, running around and trying to optimize your route and everything else. Yeah, this is probably, like I said, this is by far my favorite Game Gear game. Just because of how, like, robust it is. And thought out and everything else. And it's just a fun time. And it's good to have Tails have its own adventure for once. I really like that the Game Gear kind of expanded on just giving Tails a bunch of, like his own spin-off titles. And it's just featuring Tails. Sonic is nowhere in this game. Oh yeah, we're gonna go up north in this last section where you enter with like 3 enemies there. We're gonna go up north here and we're gonna follow this route here. I don't know where those rocks lead. I think that's just a quicker way to get up here. I don't think there was anything particularly useful with those rocks that were above us. But yeah, we're just gonna keep going this way, and it's gonna spit us out once we get up to the top. We're getting closer to the surface, and we're gonna breach ourselves out at the giant lake that's in the middle of the island. We were in the ocean, now we're in the lake. we found a cavern there. This is a good use of your anti-air missiles, as these airborne enemies here dropping bombs on you. Yeah, there we go. Lake Crystal. This stage, I would really suggest you going and healing first. Going back to your house to heal up before you go into this area here. Namely because there's a lot of crap going on the screen in this stage. And you're gonna need your speed up. Mainly because this whole lake is, you are being like fighting against a current, and you're gonna need your speed in order to fight against this current. Yeah, there you go. And there's giant waterfalls you have to jump up on your sub in order to avoid. You got all these logs falling down, you got all these enemies on logs. It gets rather annoying when you're trying to do these jumps, because these jumps are very particular with the speed up option here. Namely this last one on this last screen here. As soon as you keep going up this way, there's going to be a giant waterfall here, and you have to make a big old jump in order to do that. In order to do that, you have to wait until the very end of your speed up, like, noise prompt to hit the jump button. And then you have the most, like, you know, oomph out of your jump. More height out of your jump there. That's how you jump really high with the speed up. You have to wait until the very end of the noise, like the sound effect that you use in the speed up. Kind of weird to describe, but that's how I figured it out. Because for the longest time, I was stuck on that waterfall for the longest time. I was like, how do I jump up this thing? Then I realized, oh, the farther end of your speed up boost, that's when it gives you the momentum to jump as high. I was like, oh, that's how it works. But you want to use your anti-air missiles here to, you know, destroy all these enemies here that are just blocking your path or trying to avoid all these logs. Like I said, and these things do, like, a lot of damage. They do a lot more than just one hit. As you can see, each log hits me, that's 5 damage. And I don't have that much health. So you just gotta be careful. You hit the anti-air to get rid of those guys, because they're coming down here to drop bombs on you. I think that's another big complaint about this game, is just the screen crunch, but what can you... It's a handheld, of course, is going to be that's going to be an issue. But we need, in order to get through the Lake Crystal, in order to gain the second part of Poly Mountain, which is what we need to do to get, we need to use the night vision goggles here. I'm actually going to go back into the house because I forgot. I was like, oh, I need to have the night vision goggles for this. Yeah, this stage you're going to need your night vision goggles. So, yeah, we want to come over here to the equip menu. No, not that one. That's the dock menu. I don't know why I picked that, because it's kind of hard. The the menus are kind of hard to get through sometimes. Like, well, what do I do? You want to go to the equipment, not the equip menu, the ready menu. Go to the ready menu, or exit. Hit equip. There you go. And we're going to switch out our napalm bomb for the night vision goggle. The one used in night vision goggle. And now we're going to go up to Poly Mountain 2. That's where we're going. It's like up there by the lake, with the entrance on the lake there. As soon as I get through to it, just kind of traveling through this map is kind of hard sometimes. Poly Mountain 2. There we go. And as you can see, it's pitch black in here. We come over here, use our night vision. And voila, it's bright. It's bright and red. Yeah, so that's the only use of the night vision goggles, is the rooms in this area. That's it. So you just want to be careful when you're going through here. Go ahead and break open these blocks here. But first, we want to come down this way where the lava is. I'm trying my best to break open these rocks, so that way my little buddy can get through there. Then come over here. I'm going to switch over to our robot, because the robot is going to need to use them. So you're going to jump down here, grab this item. I said... I didn't mean to push the button early. Come down here, jump, get this item. This item's the item radar. This is helpful if you're trying to find your last items. All that does is it helps you locate your unacquired items remaining in the stage. They tell you how many items you have left to get in the stage if you're trying to find a lot of items in the game, which is kind of useful. But, well, this is a 100% playthrough. I already know where all the items are. So as soon as we come up this way, I'm going to use our night vision goggles again. Because you have to do that every room in this area. You gotta, every time you enter a new room, it's dark. You gotta turn your night vision goggles on again. Break open the wall over here. All those mice, the mouse enemies down here. I don't know those. They look like mice, but they also look like, from side view, they look like hedgehogs. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, look, they kind of look like hedgehogs a little bit. Like what actual real-life hedgehogs look like. Not, you know, Sonic hedgehogs. And he drops a bomb, too. But we want to fall down... I think we want to fall down that path, but I'm going to use my robot first. Because I think I'm going to use my robot down here. Yeah, there's a crevice down here. Because you saw an item on our screen. This is where it leads to. When we fly up here, grab this item. This is Fang. Yeah, Fang is an item. Fang is a good luck charm, requires no activation. Simply bringing it on adventures will increase the chances of defeating enemies dropping rings. That's literally its only purpose. Is to increase your chance of... It doesn't activate, it just, as long as you have it in your inventory, and these enemies are more likely to drop rings in whenever you defeat them. Which is useful, I'd say, but I wouldn't waste a valuable item slot in your loadout to do that. It's not really necessary. Like, I find myself having to use all 4 of my slots half the time. I say that, and the speed shoes have been used in one of those slots, and I barely use those speed shoes. I've only used them a couple times. I shouldn't talk. I guess I should. That's the moral of the story. I shouldn't talk. I guess Fang would be kind of like a useful thing to have, especially if you're getting hit a lot of times. This part sucks. I hate this part. So, you remember in the last area where we had to break open certain parts with the wall with bombs very carefully? Yeah, this is what I'm talking. This is one of those parts. But the thing is, though, if you fall down, you have to walk all the way around again and get it before you can get another chance at it. It's quite annoying. There's a couple times where this happens in this playthrough, and as you can see, if you try to fly through here, the wind blows against you, so it kind of tells you, no, you got to do the puzzle right. You can't just cheat it by flying. So, I'm trying to get up there. I'm like, space is not too big. It's too small for me to go through. I'm trying to break open this rock here. Get all these rings here. And I'm trying to break open the rock on the top here, just enough so that I can jump through here. And I missed my jump. I'm like, dang it. So I'll try it again. And of course I missed my jump again. Yeah, this happens a lot. And I fall down all the way this time. And I'm like, darn it. And I have to do the walk of shame over again in order to go down and around again. I think I've cut this part out if I remember correctly. Or no, I didn't. There's a couple times where this kind of puzzle happens and I fall down and I have to do the whole thing over again. I just cut out the unnecessary walking bit. And I was like, oh, I guess I can't fly. Gotta jump. And I'm trying to jump across here. I think I did it once and then I think I might have fell again, but I can't remember. I'm trying to fly across the chasm here and not get... Yeah, there we go, I fell down. Yep, I thought so. So I think I'm just gonna cut that out. I think I did. Or I can't remember what I did in my editing, I guess. I could have swore this was one of those areas that I edited out. Because I don't like to show, like 15 attempts at trying to do this stupid puzzle and messing up, you know. I want to get a move on. This was a 4-hour recording. At least managed to knock it down to 2. But yeah, we're just gonna jump across here. There we go. And then finally jump here, and I gotta break open this wall. There we go. There we go. I guess I never cut that out. I thought I did. Like I said, there was a couple times in this playthrough where that same type of scenario happened, and I just ended up, you know, cutting it out because I was like, I don't want to waste your time doing that. I was trying to get all those rings in the corner there. There's nothing in this corner except one thing, and you probably saw it when we were on our way up that way. And that was, there's something on the ceiling here with a small tunnel that we need to use our robot for. So we're going to switch over to our robot buddy. And we're going to fly up this little shaft here. And if we walk all the way down this way, I think that leads us to an item. It usually does. Yeah. This is the large bomb. Very important item. This kills everything on the screen and destroys very strong barriers. But it takes a couple seconds for it to explode. So, this is a very, big item that we need to... I won't say big item, but it's a very, important item in order to get certain upgrades, because there was a couple of rocks that were, super duper big that we couldn't break with a regular bomb, so... The large bomb is what used to break open that stuff. But as soon as we come through this room and walk to this side, we're out. Yep, we're done with Poly Mountain 2. So, we're done with the night vision goggles. Don't have to ever touch those things again. But yeah, I'm going to equip here the large bomb. Yeah, because there's a couple of upgrades we can get with the large bomb, and that kind of tells us to go back to Poly Mountain 1. If you remember, there was an item that was on the elevator that I told you that I can't break it with a regular bomb. Well, the large bomb is what breaks that open, so now we can go get that item. And this kind of is one of those items that I think most players will forget about if they're playing through the game. They'll forget that, hey, I can go back and get that now. So, I would probably say there's probably a lot of, there's a couple items that are like that. I think after this stage, we're going to go back to the first level. No, we haven't been in the first level in a while. But yeah, we're going to come up here. There's the item in question. We're going to switch over to our large bomb. I'm going to put it down, and it just causes a huge explosion. We get this item, and it gets the rocket booster. The rocket booster is, I think that's for that allow. I think you might need that in order to beat the game, but I'm not too sure. I can't remember. I think the rocket booster's for your it's for yeah, you need this item in order to beat the game. That's right. You need this in order to make it so your submarine can fly. That's right. I was always getting that confused with the darn extra speed, because the extra speed, all it does is it allows you to go fast. No, the rocket booster allows your ship to fly, and we're gonna need that for late game. So it is kind of required in order to beat the game. But yeah, we're gonna go back to the first level of the game here, because there's a couple things we can get. Namely, there's a couple rocks that are covered in moss that we need to use the napalm bomb for. Now that we got the napalm bomb, we can go and, you know, obviously break that open. Right there. There's the thing in question. Use our napalm bomb here to break open this rock, this moss rock. It's kind of hard to tell if it's moss, but here we're gonna kill that quack, that quack enemy there. We're gonna break open this wall here to get this item. I didn't want to hit the spikes, man. But this is the Spark. This is an upgrade for our ship, and basically the Spark is kind of a on-screen nuke for the ship, and it only works in the water. It zaps all enemies in the surrounding water around the ship, and it's kind of a screen nuke. It's very, very powerful. And you know what's so strange is I don't use this item in the game. I don't know why I never used it. It's kind of a cool item. But yeah, like Spark, what it does is it's a screen nuke when you're in the water in the submarine. I don't know why I didn't use it. Now looking back at it, I was like, why did I use that? That's actually kind of sounds pretty cool. Yeah, but yeah, that's what it does. It just zaps all the enemies on the screen. But we're going to keep going this way, because I think there was another place we need to use the napalm bomb that we haven't gotten to yet. There's actually like 2 places here that we need to get. But the first level has a lot of stuff to it. I didn't realize until after I recorded this, like, holy crap, I forgot that the first level had so much stuff in it. I guess first level in video games usually have a plethora of items. Sometimes a lot of stuff that you have to come back to later. Anyways, we come down this way, there's more moss rock down here. We use our napalm bomb to break it open. Slowly but surely break it open. And that leads us to the last area here. Karen Forest. Well, on the main island. Last area. That's just a way we can get to it. Which is kind of an important area that we need to go to, because there's a couple more upgrades that we need to get. But yeah, we're gonna go to Karen Forest. I like the music in this area. This music's really fun. It sounds really upbeat too. We're gonna use our napalm bomb to burn the moss here. You know, whenever I was like, what kind of rock is this? And I looked it up. I was like, oh, that's supposed to be moss. I guess that makes sense because napalm's just fire, so. But yeah, we're gonna fly up this way, and there's one item in particular that is super duper, I'd say. It's very, very important. It's kind of an optional item, but I would really suggest it's probably one of the more important items in this game. Namely because of what it does. So we're gonna use our robot buddy here to push this rock. And there we go. And then we're gonna jump up this way, climb up here, and fly all the way to the top of the stage here. Keep walking. I love Tails' walk cycle in this game, because it kind of just reminds me of the haters gonna hate, like, moment here. Anyways, we got the blue Chaos Emerald. Now, I think this is our 5th Chaos Emerald. So, we have 60 health, and our flight meter is almost full. We almost got the max health that we can get, and max flight meter, so... yeah, but like I always love the Tails' walk cycle in this game because it's just so silly. I don't know what I was thinking here. I was trying to push this thing. Can I get it? Yeah, there we go. Triple bomb. Oh my god, triple bomb is very important. We have now just officially made our bomb, the very first item we have in this game, moot. Because what the triple bomb does is it just is 3 of those things when we attack. So its greater effect is very much important. Very, very important. That's the item I was talking about. Like, it's very important that we get that because it just makes our attack a lot more stronger than normal. Like I said, we just retired our old bomb now. We're gonna use our robot buddy here to push this rock. There we go. And jump on this rock, climb up, and fly up here. There's another really good item we need to get here. Not just the triple bomb. The triple bomb is very good. Love it. Very good. But there's also another really important item here. I wouldn't say it's like mandatory. Like all these stuff I'm getting is not mandatory to beat the game, but it would help you. I would really suggest picking it up. I almost fell down. There, if you fall down off the screen, you're taken back to the map. So, that's kind of unfortunate. This item right here, Sonic. That is our other very important item that we need. Sonic, the item Sonic, what it does is, it makes it so Tails can do a spin dash, essentially, in the air. It is very good for the next stage. We're getting to in-game territory here. I say that, and we still got like 40 minutes left in the video, but yeah, the in-game area takes that long to get through. But yeah, like Sonic is going to help us in that area because what it does, it allows you to like do a spin dash, but you can do it in the air. And it breaks all those rocks that we use our bombs to break through, so it's a very quick way of destroying all that crap without having too much of an issue. I'm going to use my robot buddy to fly up through this little crevice here and push this spring around. It's just like a long drawn-out way to get the spring to come back this way. And I gotta use the remote bomb here, but awkward arc throwing is weird. Trying to get this bomb to go through that crevice is awkward. I remember having trouble with this. I'm like, I have to stand back here? No. That far enough? No, that's too short. No. Get an inch up forward? No, too much. Inch up. There we go. We gotta get that sweet spot. And now we can use our robot buddy in order to get through that crevice there. I don't know what's with me trying to get like through little small areas here. Proton Torpedo. That is I think our last item here. The Proton Torpedo is a very, very powerful attack item for your submarine. Don't do what I did here. I managed to get myself stuck here almost. I was like, oh my god, did I soft lock myself by accident? No, I pushed the spring a little bit too far. I was like, well, how did I get myself in this situation? So I was trying to get through there without activating the spring by accident, but alas, I did my undoing here. I was like, oh no, how am I gonna do this? And I was trying to use the robot to push it back, but obviously that can't work, so I'm like, I gotta commit to it. I gotta make sure Tails can just fit right through that hole there. It's just, it's so hard to describe this because this is so awkward, because if I go ever so slightly up, it just activates the spring and it bounces me towards the ceiling. There we go. Finally got my way through that hole. I thought I'd soft lock myself there. But we're gonna leave Karen for us by falling down the pit. Alright, so now I think we have everything we need at the moment. Now, as of right now, I think we have all the items in the game minus a couple. So, I'm gonna switch over to Large Bomb because we need to... I think we need to... I'm trying to remember what I'm doing here. I don't think I knew what I was doing there for a second. Even in the game, I was like, what am I doing? No, I think I'm trying to go to equip, and I think I was trying to I don't even remember what I was doing. I was switching over my remote bomb. I was trying to organize my stuff here. I'm gonna need, I think we're missing one more Chaos Emerald, which is the yellow Chaos Emerald, and 2 more items in our loadout here, so... But... trying to remember where I'm going. I'm going back to Volcanic Cave, that's right. There's one more thing that we need to do here. I forgot. We're not at in-game yet. We still have a couple more things we need to do here. There's namely a boss we have to fight. I completely forgot about it. But you'll understand when we get to that boss. The boss is kind of a forgettable boss. Anyways, we need to fall down here. There is a giant rock that we need the large bomb for. So we're gonna use the large bomb in order to get that item and access that area that we need to go to, which has that said boss. But yeah, we gotta come back here. There's a lot of places you just gotta remember, hey, I need to use this bomb here, this specific bomb here. And that's one thing I like about this game is, like, it just reminds you, like, there's a lot of places you can explore. And you're just like, okay, so I don't have the thing to break that open yet. I'll have to come back once I get a new item and see what that item does. And to some degree, like I said, I haven't used all the items in this game. Mainly the ones that are just related to combat, because I don't frankly like playing this game with a bunch of, like, close range combat options. I'm a Metroid player. I like to keep myself distance-wise. So that's why I try to play, like, with bombs and stuff like that. I really don't know why I didn't put my... Now think about it, when I was like, why didn't I equip my triple bombs? I thought about it, typed them up, how good they are, and I didn't equip my triple bombs. Even, you know, when I'm recording, sometimes I don't think. Oh, that's all this gaming does to me sometimes. Like, oh yeah. And I look back at my old playthroughs and stuff like that. I was like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Well, it's the heat of the moment, you know, man. Sometimes the recording curse, you just don't think all the way through your whole plan whenever you're trying to get to execute it. Especially when you're doing it on camera. It's so weird talking about, like, on camera stuff. It's like, well, I guess technically it is a camera, but like, capture card and voiceover, I'm like, that's not camera. Why do we use the phrase on camera? I'm like, no, technically you are. You're recording. That's still part of the camera. So. Now, if I did a face cam, that'd be another thing. I don't really do face cams on my videos. The only time I ever do face cam is on streams and such. Anyways, this is the rock that we need to use the big bomb for, because this accesses a secret area in this level. And this level, this secret area, we need to use another big bomb in order to destroy that wall there, I think. Or can we just use regular bombs? Yeah, we can just use regular bombs. It's hard to tell which walls need to have the big bomb and which ones can just be broken with the regular ones. It's kind of hard to say. Like, at least with the moss rock looks different. So it's like, hey, I need to use something else besides whatever I'm using right now. Like right here, you think, oh, I need to use the regular bombs. No, you gotta use your big bomb here. This is the part we need to use the big bomb here. There's nothing really that different between the block that normal bombs break and regular bombs. Like, yeah, like, I really wish there was a big distinction from between the two. Because it's like, what is different between a regular blown up wall with a regular bomb than it is with the big bomb. Anyways, I'm going to show you a little trick with this boss down here. Because we're approaching the boss chamber here. You can keep going forward over to the left here, but if you go and break open this thing with the big bomb here, you have the big bomb equipped, and you go down this path here, and you keep coming down this way, keep coming up this way here, you'll notice that the boss music is playing. We just arrived at the boss chamber, but we're underneath the boss. And the funny thing is, you can come up behind him, and there's the boss right there, and you're like, oh, wonder why this spot's here. Well, there's a reason. If you have your loadout just right, you can toss a little remote bomb down this way and attack the boss from behind, and he will never attack you. You never have to fight this boss legitimately. You can just do this little sneaky tactic that I'm doing right here to attack him from behind. I thought that was the funniest thing, because I did fight this boss, like, before, like, head on. And he's really not that hard of a boss, but I just found that funny that you can go down underneath it and attack from behind and everything. It's kind of funny. I love it. You can cheese the boss that way. But for whatever reason, we can't use our robot down here. I don't know why it was giving me the error noise on I'm not supposed to use my robot there. But break open this thing, get on top of the remains of the boss that we just cheesed, and get the extra armor. This is another upgrade for our ship. And what that does is it just makes you invincible for your sub. You didn't think we already had enough awesome stuff for our sub, right? Nope. We just got a flat invincibility, but I think it only works in the water. You can't use it anywhere else. I think that's what it all comes down to. Anyways, now I'm effectively fixing my loadout, and this is going to be my final loadout for the rest of the game. Is the triple bomb, the remote robot, Sonic, and the remote bomb, because pretty much I think those are the most important items going into this. I'm going to equip in my submarine. We're going to equip the proton torpedo over a Vulcan cannon, turbo booster, rocket booster, our extra armor, and I think we need the mine. I think they were all good. Yeah, I think we're all good now. So now, we're going to go back into the water again. Now we got our fully powered up ship. We have every upgrade for the ship now. And I'll show you the true power of this ship. Because now we're going to go to the last island that's over to the right of us right now. But if we switch over to our extra armor and turn it on, guess what? We're invincible. Nothing can hurt us. Isn't that neat? I can just go through up here and nothing can hurt us. They all die when they touch me. I love that you get the basically invincibility if you go do all the levels in the game. I love that. Especially for the submarine. But, like I said before, this only works in the underwater segment. There's another segment that has the sub flying, and I don't think it works there. I think it only works on the water. Trying to look and see if it does. Well, I mean, the wiki says that no, it just makes it invincible until activated lasts until Tails reaches a screen transition. Okay, cool. But we're gonna use our mine here in order to get into the bottom portion of this. I think we could have accessed this a lot earlier, considering the mine was the first ship upgrade that we got. But I think we wouldn't have been able to survive coming down here, because as soon as you see this, and I think this is why we needed the invincibility, is we're getting pelted by Vulcan cannons and whatnot. There's a lot of stuff that's hitting us, like attacking us. So I think that's one reason why probably suggest getting the invincibility, because trying to get through this segment without it is annoying, to say the least. I think you can. I think you can get through it with it just fine, but honestly, we're heading into the stronghold of the enemy, so it makes sense why the defense is really high. There's a bunch of, like, you know, stuff trying to hurt you. You got all these mines dropping down on top of you. I think that's one reason why they want you to get the invincibility first. At least find it. Get all these enemies attacking you all at once. Yeah, I really like the sub. I think the submarine segments of this game is really fun, along with the main game. I'm just gonna keep on charging through with our invincibility here. Busta, busta, busta. I like the sound effects of the rocks being destroyed by the giant drill. Kind of reminds me of, like, the game Drill Dozer, Miss Drill Dozer. I've never actually played that game. I know that's a Game Boy Advance game. And break open this the mine with our mine, and then finally we're gonna walk through this little tunnel here. We're gonna keep charging through here with our drill here. Eventually, we're going to gotta use attack with our weapon here and destroy that cannon there. We want to access this next screen transition. Equip our invincibility and keep on charging along here. Like I said, we're going into the enemy stronghold. Yeah, I think now, looking at this, I can understand why I think that you probably need to get the invincibility before you can even come here. But anyways, we're on Coco Island, the last, like, major, like, stop on the world map here. This is the stronghold of the enemy. This level is kind of hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's kind of hard because it's maze-like too. Anyways, this is what Sonic does. He causes a spin dash. These enemies are annoying because they kind of like act like Met-Tools from Mega Man. They shoot you and then they go into cover, and then you can't attack them like normal. So yeah, I hate these guys. Trying to attack them with bombs or anything is just really a pain in the butt. I hate fighting these guys. Just trying to attack them when they're up is hard enough. But yeah, Sonic, what it does, it just makes a spin dash, and it makes, like, this segment right here kind of like Child's Play when you're trying to do stuff in the air while bombing. But we're gonna fly up this way, and this part right here. If you see the down arrow there, if you fall down, you can't like fly upwards past the down arrow, if that makes any sense. If you fall past it, you're kind of locked out from the top, the portion of this. So if I fell down there, I would have to go around and come back again. It's kind of like the situation with the wind mechanic with the flying, so it's kind of weird. We're going to use our robot buddy to activate the switch here to put down the electrical barriers here. Hit this one, put down that one, and as you can see, I can't fly back up. So you have to go down and around and everything else and try again if you mess up. That's gonna be a running thing in this this isn't the final dungeon, but this is like the lead up to the final dungeon. So yeah, fall down here, get past this electric barrier, and see these stupid ducks, these Met-Tool ducks. We use our spin dash to get a little bit faster. As you can see, you can use Sonic as a speedrunning tactic because his item's really fast. You can go a lot faster with it, a lot faster than the speed shoes, that's for sure. Trying to switch over to my triple bombs. I love my triple bombs. See if I can hit that guy. This guy's placement sucks. I hate this dude. This dude annoys me because I'm trying to hit him. And I can't hit him because he goes down just quickly enough that it doesn't affect him. So I'm just gonna avoid all of it. This part sucks. This is where our one of our major items here is. I want to switch over to Sonic here, and while it crumble down here, before you fall down, land on top of this block here and get your last Chaos Emerald. This is the last Chaos Emerald in the game, and instead of boosting your health up by 10 this time, it just boosts your health up to 99 rings so it increases it from like 60 to 99 essentially, and it makes your health meter go, or your flight meter go up to full capacity. So now we have a full flight meter and a full health meter. As you can see, I had to cut there because, like I said, I fell down, and yeah, that's no point, and I didn't want to go through all that again. So I didn't want to torture you guys going through all that again. But yeah, we want to come down this way, past where the Chaos Emerald was, and hit the switch here. Now we can fall down this way. There we go. Hit ourselves with the spikes. Now the electrical barrier's down, we can advance over to the next screen. Now here, we have, right in the beginning of this room, we come down this way, blow up this rock here with the bombs, and go down to the lower left-hand corner, fall down this path here, we get the teleport device. This item's kind of useful. If you are in a dungeon, or anywhere in any like dungeon area, you can use this item to teleport Tails straight to his house. That's really useful if you're in quite of a pickle and you don't know what to do. If you're missing an item, you can use that item to get yourself back home to get your loadout fixed up before you can try again. Granted, it doesn't, I don't think it teleports you back to where you were. That would be very convenient if it did. But all it does is, like I said, it kind of just teleports you back to Tails' house, which can be useful. I don't know why they waited so late in the game to give it to us, though. Alright, so this thing right here, that the robot's on the conveyor belt here, those little waves there, only thing that can ever affect the robot. If those waves hit the robot, it automatically disables it and goes back to Tails, and you have to start over again. That's essentially what it does. I think that's the only thing in the game that actively, relatively hurts the robot. I say hurts the robot. It doesn't really hurt it, just deactivates it. But that's the only thing that really, like, turns the robot off. Robot can, you know, go through any hazard or any obstacle, doesn't take damage from enemies and stuff like that, but he can't handle a couple of waves in a corridor. So we're gonna use our robot buddy here to deactivate that electrical barrier. These Vulcan cannons, I don't think they can be destroyed. I think I tried destroying them at one point, but I couldn't get them to be destroyed. I'm just gonna avoid them. I think those are the only Vulcan cannons that I know of in the game, to be perfectly honest, because I don't remember them being anywhere else. These gosh darn ducks are so annoying, dude. I hate these Met Tool ducks. I'm just gonna coin them Met Tool ducks, because that's what they remind me of, is Met Tools from Mega Man. You go back to my triple bomb. And toss it. There we go. And come down here, activate this switch here to go through this area here. Avoid the ducks. And I think we're getting close to the next screen transition, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this leads us straight to the next screen transition. And this leads us straight to the boss of this area. He tricks Tails. He's like, you're trapped in here now. But we don't actually fight this boss. This is more of a puzzle. We have to use our robot buddy in order to get through a maze here. But first, we need to kind of destroy the blocks leading to where the robot needs to go. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of use my remote bomb here to destroy that block there. There we go. Beautiful. Now, I need to go back on this spot here before the lasers hit me. I forgot to mention, Tails is completely invincible whenever he's in this state controlling the robot. Enemies won't hurt him, so as long as you are in a robot phase, Tails won't take any damage. But yeah, we're going to take our little robot buddy here, and we're going to fly him up this way, up through this corridor. The boss is like, "Hey, what's that robot doing here?" Conveniently placed rock to hit him, knock him out. Hit the switch. I love that you have to push a rock on top of the boss in order to knock him out. I think that's kind of funny. But as soon as we do that, get through here, and then we're done with Cocoa Island. That is pretty much it for this area here. But as soon as we leave, Cocoa Island rises from the sea and becomes a battleship area. And that becomes the final gauntlet of the game. Because we gotta climb up to that battle station. But first, we need to fix up our loadout one last time before we go through there. That's our last little trip of the game. So this will probably be the last time we use our house, for the most part. Well, that's not technically true. But I'm good with the items I got. I switched back to... In case I forgot, I put the rocket boosters on, because we're going to need the rocket boosters to even get to the Battle Fortress. So as you can see, Tails is flying now, so that item is required in order to get beaten this game. Yeah, I tried to use the armor here. I think I had the same idea. It's like, oh, can I use the armor? No, you can't use the armor here. I tried to use it and it didn't work out. So I'm just going to use my proton torpedo here. Becomes a little bit of a shmup, a little bit. We just gotta go over here and... Well, I wouldn't say a shmup. It kind of reminds me of, like, Mario Land towards the end of the game, level 4, where you have to use a little spaceship to shoot enemies here. And you just keep flying through this here with our rocket booster. So yeah, that one item that was in Mount Poly 1 that needed the big bomb in order to destroy, that is a required item in order to beat this game. I forgot the rocket booster is kind of like a required item, because we need it in order to actually fly. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Alright, so now we're in the last segment here, this little, like, flying segment up to the battleship, and I'd say this is probably the hardest, at least for me it was, trying to, you know, get through this without taking too much of a hit. You got these little, like, snipers here that shoots shots at you whenever you pass by them in their sight, and it's kind of hard to avoid them unless you're, like, far away. But you also got these, like, airborne jerks dropping bombs on top of you, so kind of gets a little bit harder to get through this. And that last segment, I forgot to mention, as hard as it was, it's hard to see those enemies coming up on you. So I took a lot of, like, unintentional damage by accident, just because those enemies came up so fast that they hit you. So you might not come in here with full health. So trying to climb this, like, vertical flight segment is kind of hard, I'd say. I don't really like this part because there's just a lot of stuff going on the screen. It's hard, like, as I grow older, like these games with a lot of screen crunch on them. I wouldn't say like too much screen crunch because this game got pretty lenient screen crunch, but like a lot of stuff where like the main character takes up like I'd say about like 20% of the screen. I didn't have a hard time growing up on it, but as I get older, I don't know, it's harder for me to navigate through these anymore. But yeah, this segment's really long and drawn out, if you couldn't tell. There's a lot of stuff, like a lot of like paths I gotta climb up here, but I think we're getting towards the top of the screen here. Blow up the guy there with the sniper rifle. I hate these dudes so much. So I'm trying to avoid their shot while going up there and attacking them. I guess having your anti-air missiles would be useful here too. I didn't really think about that. But I don't even know if those work. I don't even know if they work. Okay, there we go. Now we got to the top of the screen. We got access to the Battle Fortress. I would suggest going to Tails' house at least to heal, so that way you don't start off with whatever damage you had from that flying segment. But now we're going into the Battle Fortress. This is the final level of the game. And I love the music here. It's very ominous. Now, right off the bat, we're getting our last item in the game, too. If you keep coming down this way, along with the conveyor belt, you'll notice there's a duck there and like a crevice around the side there. We come up here and use our robot buddy here one last time. We can grab this last item, not fall down, because I don't like falling down. So we come down here and get our last item in the game. This is the very last item. This is the wrench. The wrench is a very situational item. It's useful it's useful in this area only. It's used to reverse the direction of the conveyor belts in the Battle Fortress 2 segment, which is the level that we're at right now, the final level. I don't really see the conveyor belts being too much of an issue to warrant like using up my whole entirety of my one of my slots in my loadout. So yeah, now I'm showing off all the stuff here, but we've got 100% of all the items in the game. So I just wanted to show that off. So yeah, we can go now into the Battle Fortress. Like I said before, the wrench is a cool item. It helps kind of make your life a little bit easier in the final level. But like I said, I don't really see the need for it because the conveyor belts really aren't that super duper big of a problem that warrants this need to fix this problem. I guess that's the best way I could describe it. The conveyor belts are the least of your worries when you're going through here. So I don't see the need to take up a slot in your loadout to dedicate it for that reason, if that makes any sense. You want to have all the best stuff in the game in your personal preference in order to get through this last segment, because this last segment's kind of a big level. And there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of enemies. You got to use your robot quite a bit, your robot buddy quite a bit. I mean, that was just normal for the main game. You had to use your robot buddy for a lot of things for this game. But Sonic, I feel the Sonic item is really useful in order to get through. It kind of mitigates a lot of the conveyor belt problems anyways, what Sonic does. Your triple bombs, obviously you need to have a form of attack. And I just feel the remote bomb is really useful in certain situations that you kind of want to not, have it. Anyways, here in this segment, we're going to use our robot buddy yet again to go through this little crevice. And this crevice has a bunch of spikes here. Luckily, our robot buddy is not affected by spikes. Let's fly up here, and we're going to hit the switch. Hitting all these switch disables the electrical fields that are upwards. Like forward, it kind of blocks our path. So you want to hit all these electrical barriers as best we can. Like I said, Sonic kind of mitigates a lot of the conveyor belt stuff anyways. So like, yeah, sure, Tails, doesn't do well against the conveyor belt, but he could either fly over it or just use Sonic. Sonic just kind of like makes that trivial. So I don't really see the need for the wrench. The wrench is kind of just But being the final item in the game, it's kind of a letdown. A lot of the stuff in this, like all the items that we picked up, are just like kind of situational, but there's a lot of multi-use items like Sonic and your bombs and remote bomb and everything else. Especially your robot buddy. The robot buddy is like probably the most important item in the game, flat out, because you use the robot buddy so much to do a lot of these puzzles. Now, trying to get through this little segment is kind of annoying because you have to kind of like fly around while avoiding the downward pit there. But we're gonna use our Sonic here because I like using Sonic in midair because that kind of helps you get through that without using bombs. Alright, so this room here is kind of annoying, I would say, because this is probably like the most annoying room in the fortress. So we gotta climb up here and use our robot buddy to get through this crevice here. Now, this part is not the hard part. The hard part's coming up soon. Just come over here, hit the switch, there we go. Electrical barriers down. It's the next segment that I'd say is probably the hardest part. Namely because, like I said, the robot hasn't had too many issues the entire game, but the final dungeon decided to throw something that causes the robot to be disrupted, and that's annoying. So, having to deal with that, it's kind of annoying. Just jump up here, or avoid the conveyor belts. Like I said, the conveyor belts, they seem like they're annoying, but like I said, Sonic kind of makes it trivial. But be careful there, because, well, unfortunately, if you fall down too far, well, you gotta make the walk of shame all over again to get through this part again. Yeah, so you gotta be careful whenever you're moving, because, I mean, this game isn't really designed to be super fast, so having Sonic Spin Dash can kind of break it a little bit to the point where you're not seeing where you're going. And as you can see, I kind of bursted through that without, you know, taking heed or warning to jump over that pit and fall over. And I fell down in the pit too far. And this segment is kind of sucks. I hate this segment here because yeah, then that happens. You fall down. You're like, ah, you gotta walk all the way back again. Luckily for you, I didn't do that. I just cut that out. I knew one of these segments I cut out whenever that happens. A lot of the times you just fall down. You're just like, dude, I gotta walk all the way back around and do this again. That's probably the most annoying part here. Alright, so this is the segment. I'd be very careful. Oh, lordy. I didn't really heed my warning. Yeah, so now I gotta fly around again because I'm dumb and I didn't heed my warning. I should have used my bombs there instead of using Sonic. As much as I like the Sonic item, it's kind of hard to control because of how fast fast burst of speed you get from it. So you can kind of overshoot yourself and cause you to fall. Anyways, you want to be here, use your robot. Robot is useful here. Luckily, I fell down by accident. I don't even attempt to see if the robot can be negated by the arrows, but I'm not too sure because I just don't care because I'll just call it back anyways. Anyways, we're going to use our robot buddy here to fly down and come down here to this crevice. This crevice has a conveyor belt, which causes you need to jump in order to move forward, while trying to avoid the waves that disrupt your robot. This is probably like the hardest robot segment, I'd say, in this game, is this little segment right here, because trying to get your robot to go through that with the conveyor belt going against him is kind of annoying. I'm trying to get down there. Let's try this again. You just gotta, you know, just walk. Try to go at a speed until you time your jumps right, until you jump past it a little bit. And you gotta do this 3 times. So you gotta go through like 3 of these barriers here. And as you can see, I'm not very good at it. Ugh. Tails. Buddy, let's try this again. We're almost done. Yeah, we're like literally the final level of the game, so trying to avoid the waves here and try to do it synchronized with their timing here. And then jump past here. And oh no, we got to do it 4 times. I was mistaken. I thought I did it only 3 times. Anyways, get past here, jump, hit that barrier, or hit that switch to disable the barrier. And then, now we can get back to Sonic, and make sure you fly! Darn it. But I fell down. But yeah, I cut all that out. Use Sonic here to burst through that wall. And then we gotta use our robot yet again on here to fly up this crevice here. And I think this is the last time we have to use our robot in the game. Hit that switch. I think this is the last time we have to use the robot. I'm gonna switch back to Sonic, not hit myself with the spikes. Trying to break open these rocks here. I don't know why Tails kept grabbing those. Just do that. There we go. Then we can fly up here. Go around into the final boss area. But before the final boss, we have to take care of this guy. You remember this guy? The guy that we had a race with? Now we actually have to fight him. So he's gonna go around the whole arena and shooting energy waves at you. He's very, like, kind of predictable. He can go around shooting you. He'll go down the aisles every now and then. But every now and then, he'll go to the side and shoot these red waves at you. Whenever that happens, he goes from top to bottom. You want to just, you know, avoid it whenever he goes to your lane here. I suggest staying in the middle lane here because you can hit him whenever he passes by. And he rarely comes into the middle aisle anyways. So you can kind of hit him, get him a couple hits. He's going to come down here this time. But once you see him coming down that way, you just jump off, avoid his electrical beam, and you just hit him a couple times, and this boss is kind of a cake. I'm not, like, it took me a little bit, because I tried fighting him, like, head-on the first couple times, and that didn't work as well as I thought it was going to, but once I found this strategy of just, like, hugging this one area in the middle aisle, this boss fight kind of became a joke, to be perfectly honest. But after that, he's donezo. That wasn't the final boss, by the way. That was the penultimate boss. This is the final boss. Just a giant thug. He's gonna throw bombs of his own at you all the time. And you don't want to get close to him, because once you get close to him, he will grab you and throw you across the room. And I think that does a lot of damage. I'm not too sure how much it does. But really, yeah, like, he just grabs you and he throws you. He did like 4 damage, holy crap. Anyways, yeah, just fly above him and keep dropping bombs on him. That's like the best strategy to do so, because really, it's not that hard. Like, then he gets into this second phase where he squats and he starts doing a bomb rush. Later, he's going to go in the middle of the room. He's going to throw it all the way to the top of the ceiling. And then he's gonna, like, do like a spread shot and whatnot. But this boss isn't too hard. It's just gotta be careful. Stay away from him when you possibly can. Yeah, there we go. There's that spread shot stuff I was talking about. You don't want to be close to him at all, because once you get close to him, he just throws you. That does a lot of damage. And not only that, you're retaining the health that you had from the boss we just fought before this. So just be mindful of that. After a couple of blowing him up with bombs, he's donezo. That's it. We've destroyed their battle fortress. We've stopped their invasion. And it comes crashing back into the sea. And with that, we have cleared Tails' Adventures. Like I said before, I love this game. This game is really fun. I didn't expect this game to hook me as much as it did. I heard good things about it, and I heard people say, oh, it's different than other Sonic games, and it's kind of a welcome change. But once I sat down and actually played through it, I was like, holy crap, this game is so fun. I love this. And it kind of just reminded me of, like, a lot of Metroidvanias. Granted, there's not a lot of hints that you could use to get all the items in the game to help you out to get through the game. I guess if you find the item finder at some point, it could tell you there's, you know, items hidden in the area. So I guess that's one way you could figure it out. But for the most part, I really like this game. And I think if you have a Game Gear, try this one out. I think this is the best game on the Game Gear, hands down. And that's kind of strange because this isn't even a Sonic title. This is a Tails title. Sonic is nowhere in this game except as an item to give you Spin Dash. That's it. But yeah, I love Tails Adventure. It's a lot of fun. You know, I literally, when I first played this, I was like, I didn't even care how long it was taking me, because most Game Gear games are like 30 minutes to an hour long, and this one was like 4 hours, and I was like, I didn't feel like it. But yeah, I love this little segment on the end here where Tails is fixing up the robot that he did. He defeated the bad guys, and the first priority at home is like, I gotta fix my robot. I gotta make it better. He didn't care. He didn't care that he beat up a bunch of bad guys. But yeah. And after that, his head explodes. He's like, oh man, I gotta go fix it again. And everything else. But yeah, this game is a lot of fun. If you have any Game Gear like library, I implore you to play this. This game is worth every amount of time that you play in this game. It's fun. It does have a couple gripes, but other than that, this is by far the best Game Gear game in my opinion. Aww, it blew up at the end. But yeah, that was Tails Adventures. Adventures. I don't know what it is, but anyways, you get a percentage of all items. We got 100% items, so we got a good score. We got 100% on the game. But with that, I'm going to head back to current commentary, Matthew, I guess that's what I'm saying. But so with that, I'll see you guys in a second. Oh my goodness. And with that, that is Tails Adventures on the Sega Game Gear. I don't know if it's Adventures or Adventure, because as you can see from the title screen, it says Adventures, and the game references it a lot. But yeah, that was such a fun time to go through. I love this game. This is like I said, this is probably my favorite Game Gear game by far. I love this game a lot. But in the next episode of Let's Play Sonic Origins Plus, we are going to be tackling probably one of the most infamous Sega Game Gear games, Sonic Labyrinth. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next episode.